Commissioner Holmes, Carbon County. I really appreciate the process that we're going through here. Casey Holmes, Carbon County. I thought I did that. Sorry.
I was just commenting on how discouraging this is.
Maybe I'll just sit down if you're already discouraged.
Well, get it out.
I just a couple things that I'm seeing in my county, and it's probably other counties as well, that I could think that I think would be better addressed at a state level and speed up the process, and that has to do with permitting and being able to have local buy-in and help that process go forward. In my time that I've lived in Carbon County, I've seen a 20-year snow ride get shut down. It was just a bunch of snowmobilers that got out every year. One time a year, a lot of elderly people went on this ride because there was a young enough group that went with them to help them get unstuck. Was shut down because we couldn't get the permits. It became too difficult, too cumbersome to get the permits. I take a group of scouts every other year into the UNAs. We just go up, leave all our cell phones, all our devices at home, gives the boys a full week to unplug from the world entirely. It is an amazing thing to watch them go to where they can't hardly stand to fidget because there's not something in their eyes, not something taking all their attention, to by the end of the week, they are completely calm. It's an amazing thing. This year we took and it's kind of a difficult thing because every time we go up to the UNAs, and I've done it three times in 6 years. Every time we go up, we have new regulations that we have to follow. This year, you can't have more than 14 people in your group. If you do, you have to split it in two and camp a mile apart. That's pretty difficult to do. We did it. Now, the other regulation is we pack in with horses. I'm kind of a horse guy myself. I hate to walk if I don't have to. And at this particular set of lakes, we couldn't camp within a mile of the lake. How do you water? How do you do all this stuff that you do with horses? All those trails were put in there by horses, but because somebody doesn't want to step over the road apples that are left there by my horses, we can't camp next to the lake. We ended up cutting our day short by 1 day because we had a forest ranger come in and start giving us some grief, so we packed up and went. I just wonder who we're protecting this land for. If it isn't for our kids, then who are we protecting it for? And then now taking this back to my county, it takes 10 years minimum. We have 10 years to permit a coal mine. We have some that have been trying to get permitted, but because of the EISs and all the different processes they have to go through the federal government, we could have had 9 years of production if it only took a year. Now our oil and gas leases are the same thing. It takes a year minimum for them to get their permits and everything secured. The problem with that is it's hard for these energy industries to come into our communities and plan if they can't even get the permits and all the things that they need to develop a plan to drill, to mine coal or whatever it is they're doing. I think that's it. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing up the permitting issues and the things on coal. I just saw a story last week that just blew my lid completely off. That apparently we are importing coal, and then our imports of coal into the United States have increased 43%, and we're importing coal from Russia and Colombia and Indonesia. So we're still burning them, I guess.
Meanwhile, right now in Carbon County, we're exporting coal to China and these other countries. The mines that are currently in Carbon County and Emery County are gearing up to export their coal. It's leaving now to go to other countries. I don't understand it
I
either.
guess kind of the same comment that was before. I appreciate the way it was said by a number of commissioners, this idea of exporting our kids because they just can't stay in the communities. What would your county look like if it were being managed the way it was 30, 40, 50 years ago? It was being managed by the state and we had that control. What would that economic activity and that look like if you had that ability to control it locally?
I believe it would be more robust. I think we'd have more energy industries geared up to develop and not devastate the land, but to develop the land. That's the energy, I came from the energy industry, and I've seen them take huge steps to protect the land. They go out of their way most of the time to protect the sage grouse, to protect the different animals. And there are other things. It took 10 years for us to get an EIS passed so we could put our trail system, which, by the way, is just like some of the other counties. It's basically just county roads, but because we wanted to call it a trail, it took us 10 years to pass that. And it was because of a change in management at the local level who walked in and says, oh yeah, this looks good, and put a stamp on it. And so finally we have a trail system that we can now market. So I think if it were managed at a state or a local level, there's things that we could put in place to bring more security to energy companies, to our own people. I think we'd be more robust.
If I may, Mr. Chairman,
And you kind of touched on this. We had a debate last week down in Iron County with some folks, some professors from the University of Utah. Their argument pretty much the whole time was, you need to be very, very, very afraid of yourselves and anybody that you would elect locally to manage your own lands, because you would destroy your own place that you live and get your livelihood from. So you need a nameless, faceless bureaucrat that changes every couple of years that you can't elect or unelect. What do you say to that argument that if you and the people you elect locally had control of the land, you'd destroy it?
I'll try and keep the expletives out. That's BS. The people that I live there. I hunt there, I play there, I recreate there. That's my home. I'm not going to destroy it. I don't want it to be destroyed. But I do want my family. We're an exporter of people too. Maybe not as much as Box Elder County or some of the other counties, but we are an exporter of our children too. And I apologize, but it's to the Wasatch Front, because all the jobs are on the Wasatch Front, because we can't get the security in rural Utah. I want my kids to grow up there because it's beautiful, because some of the scenery we have there is majestic. Take all your shopping malls, whatever, keep it up on the Wasatch Front. I love to go to the mountains. I love to see the scenery that we have there. I love to bugle elk. I took my kids just last week to bugle elk, and they just thought it was so much fun. I don't want that to go away. I'm not going to rape and pillage the earth. That's my answer.